Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It is your girl, Pastor Courage Molina of Bold Faith Community Church. Welcome to our Mornings in the Word. Today is day 63 of the Chronological Bible reading plan. We are going to be reading Numbers 21 through 22 in the NLT. If this is your first time, welcome. So glad to have you. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. To all my OGs, say what's up in the chat. To the women of BFCC, say hello. Good morning, y'all. And be sure to comment. Be sure to like this video if you like these videos. And so, let's get into it. Chapter 21. Victory over the Canaanites. So, chapter 21, verse 1. The Canaanite king of Arad, who lived in the Negev, heard that the Israelites were approaching on the road through Atharim. So he attacked the Israelites and took some of them as prisoners. Then the people of Israel made this vow to the Lord: if you will hand these people over to us, we will completely destroy all their towns. The Lord heard the Israelites' request and gave them victory over the Canaanites. The Israelites completely destroyed them and their towns, and the place has been called Hormah ever since. Then the people of Israel set out from Mount Hor, taking the road to the Red Sea to go around the land of Edom. But the people grew impatient. Here we go again. But the people grew impatient with the long journey, and they began to speak against God and Moses. Why have you brought us out of Egypt to die here in the wilderness? They complained. There is nothing to eat here, nothing to drink, and we hate this horrible manna. So the Lord sent poisonous snakes among the people, and many were bitten and died. Then the people came to Moses and cried out, we have sinned by speaking against the Lord and against you. Pray that the Lord will take away the snakes. So Moses prayed for the people. Then the Lord told him, make a replica of a poisonous snake and attach it to a pole. All who are bitten will live if they simply look at it. So Moses made a snake out of bronze and attached it to a pole. Then anyone who was bitten by a snake could look at the bronze snake and be healed. I just want to say this. This idea of like creating a bronze sculpture, it's like a snake and you're holding it up. I just want to make a clear distinction. This is not witchcraft. This is obviously not sorcery. The power, the healing power that is derived from looking at the bronze snake comes from where? It comes from God. It doesn't come simply by looking. It doesn't come simply by the bronze. It doesn't come because he made it a snake. It is because this is how God has set up for the healing to take place, right? So it just makes me think of like modern day medicine just for a second too. My healing doesn't come from these other things. It's the Lord that brings my healing. And anytime we start to look at the vehicle, that's a good word. Anytime we start to look at the vehicle that God uses to deliver our blessings and our healing as the source of our healing and blessings, that's when it becomes a problem. But when we do things with physical and natural things in this world, natural physical items, right? When we do things because the Spirit of God has led us to do it, because we've been instructed by God to do it, we have to keep in mind, like, this is what separates what we do from sorcery and witchcraft, right? That we were instructed by God to do it, and that the power that this healing, blessing, insight, or whatever comes from, it comes from God. So I just want to say that real quick because it sounds real. I mean, just when you're reading some of this stuff, it sounds real witchcraft. And so it's like, how is this different from witchcraft? And so, to my point, it means that the physical items in and of themselves are not unholy. The bronze sculpture in and of itself is not unholy. You know, the candle in and of itself, the incense in and of itself is not holy. But what is the source of that energy? What is the source of the healing? What is the source of the power that you're bringing into your home? Is it from God, or is it you think it is found in the actual item that you have? All right, verse 10. The Israelites traveled next to Oboth and camped there. Then they went on to Abrim in the wilderness on the eastern border of Moab. From there, they traveled to the valley of Zered Brook and set up camp. Then they moved out and camped on the far side of the Arnon River and the wilderness adjacent to the territories of the Amorites. The Arnon is the boundary line between the Moabites and the Amorites. For this reason, the book of the wars of the Lord speaks of the town of Waheb and the area of Sufa and the ravens of the Arnon River and ravens that extend as far as the settlement of Ar on the border of Moab. From there, the Israelites traveled to Beer, which is the well where the Lord said to Moses, "Assemble the people, and I will give them water." There the Israelites sang this song: "Spring up, O well, yes, sing its praises. Sing of this well, which princes dug, which great leaders hollowed out with their scepters and staff." Then the Israelites left the wilderness and proceeded on through Matana, Nahaliel, and Bamoth. After that, they went to the valley in Moab, where Pisgah Peak overlooks the wasteland. Verse 21. The Israelites sent ambassadors to King Sihon of the Amorites with this message: "Let us travel through your land. We will be careful not to go through your fields and vineyards. We won't even drink water from your wells. We will stay on the king's road until we've passed through your territory." But King Sihon refused to let them cross his territory. Instead, he mobilized his entire army and attacked Israel in the wilderness, engaging them in a battle at Jahaz. But the Israelites slaughtered them with their swords and occupied their land from the Arnon River to the Jabbok River. They went only as far as the Ammonite border because the boundary of the Ammonites was fortified. So Israel captured all the towns of the Amorites and settled in them, including the city of Heshbon and its surrounding villages. Heshbon had been the capital of King Sihon of the Amorites. He had defeated a former Moabite king and seized all his land as far as the Arnon River. Therefore, the ancient poets wrote this about him: "Come to Heshbon and let it be rebuilt. Let the city of Sihon be restored. A fire flamed forth from Heshbon, a blaze from the city of Sihon. It burned the city of Ar in Moab. It destroyed the rulers of the Arnon heights. What sorrow awaits you, O people of Moab? You are finished, O worshippers of Shemosh. Shemosh has left his sons as refugees, his daughters as captives of Sihon, the Amorite king. We have utterly destroyed them from Heshbon to Dibon. We have completely wiped them out, as far away as Nophah and Medeba." So the people of Israel occupied the territories of the Amorites. After Moses sent men to explore the Jazer area, they captured all the towns in the region and drove out the Amorites who lived there. Then they turned and marched up the road to Bashan, but King Og of Bashan and all his people attacked them at Edrei. Excuse me, it's like they haven't heard about them, right? The Lord said to Moses, "Do not be afraid of him, for I have handed him over to you, along with all his people and his land. Do the same to him as you did to King Sihon of the Amorites, who ruled in Heshbon." And Israel killed King Og, his sons, and all his subjects. Not a single survivor remained. Then Israel occupied their land. There's a lot of, "No, you can't come through our land. No, if y'all come through here, we're going to kill you. We're going to conquer you." And then they lose, right? The Lord is giving the children of Israel all of these wins, all of these victories. And now they're getting ready to get another fight. I wonder how often you get one victory with an expectation that the journey you're on won't require another one, right? We're like from grace to grace, from victory to victory. The thing is, in order for there to be a victory, there has to be a battle. I wonder how often you've stopped on the journey that God has taken you on, this way that he's leading you, because you want to avoid the battles. But what you need to understand, and we can see here, is that every time you avoid a battle that the Lord has brought you to, I am here at this crossroad with this battle because of obedience to God. Not because of my disobedience, not because of my procrastination and excuses, not because of my bad attitude. No, sometimes we had a battle, we made that for ourselves. But when we're following God and He's telling us to do things a certain way, I wonder how often we want to give up because we have to face battle after battle. But the truth is, there is no victory without a battle. So just because you got the last victory doesn't mean that there's not another victory in your future. There's definitely another victory in your future, which means there's another battle. I just want to say that. Chapter 22. Then the people of Israel traveled to the plains of Moab and camped east of the Jordan River across from Jericho. Balak, son of Zippor, the Moabite king, had seen everything the Israelites did to the Amorites. And when the people of Moab saw how many Israelites there were, they were terrified. The king of Moab said to the elders of Midian, "This mob will devour everything in sight, like an ox devours grass in the field." So Balak, king of Moab, sent messengers to call Balaam, son of Beor, who was living in this native land of Pethor, near the Euphrates River. His message said, "Look, a vast horde of people has arrived from Egypt. They cover the face of the earth and are threatening me. Please come and curse these people for me because they are too powerful for me. Then perhaps I will be able to conquer them and drive them from the land. I know that blessings fall on any people you bless, and curses fall on people you curse." Balak's messengers, who were elders of Moab and Midian, set out with the money to pay Balaam to place a curse upon Israel. They went to Balaam and delivered Balak's message to him. "Stay here overnight," Balaam said. "In the morning, I will tell you whatever the Lord directs me to say." So the officials from Moab stayed there with Balaam. That night, God came to Balaam and asked him, "Who are these men visiting you?" Balaam said to God, "Balak, son of Zippor, king of Moab, has sent me this message. Look, a vast horde of people has arrived from Egypt, and they cover the face of the earth. Come and curse these people for me. Then perhaps I will be able to stand up to them and drive them from the land." But God told Balaam, "Do not go with them. You are not to curse these people, for they have been blessed." The next morning, Balaam got up and told Balak's officials, "Go on home. The Lord will not let me go with you." So the Moabite officials returned to King Balak and reported, "Balaam refused to come with us." Then Balak tried again. This time he sent a larger number of even more distinguished officials than those he had sent the first time. They went to Balaam and delivered this message to him. This is what Balak, son of Zippor, says. "Please don't let anything stop you from coming to help me. I will pay you very well and do whatever you tell me. Just come and curse these people for me." But Balaam responded to Balak's messengers, "Even if Balak were to give me his palace filled with silver and gold, I would be powerless to do anything against the will of the Lord my God. But stay here one more night, and I will see if the Lord has anything else to say to me." That night, God came to Balaam and told him, "Since these men have come for you, get up and go with them, but do only what I tell you to do." Verse 21. So the next morning, Balaam got up, saddled his donkey, and started off with the Moabite officials. But God was angry that Balaam was going, so he sent the angel of the Lord to stand in the road to block his way. As Balaam and two servants were riding along, Balaam's donkey saw the angel of the Lord standing in the road with a drawn sword in his hand. The donkey bolted off the road into a field, but Balaam beat it and turned it back onto the road. Then the angel of the Lord stood at a place where the road narrowed. Between two vineyard walls. When the donkey saw the angel of the Lord, it tried to squeeze by and crush Balaam's foot against the wall. So Balaam beat the donkey again. Then the angel of the Lord moved farther down the road and stood in a place too narrow for the donkey to get by at all. This time, when the donkey saw the angel, it lay down under Balaam. In a fit of rage, Balaam beat the animal again with his staff. Then the Lord gave the donkey the ability to speak. Now, y'all know this good, right? "What have I done to you that deserves your beating me 3 times?" it asked Balaam. "You have made me look like a fool," Balaam shouted. "If I had a sword with me, I would kill you. But I'm the same donkey you have ridden all your life. The donkey answered. Have I ever done anything like this before? No, Balaam admitted. Then the Lord opened Balaam's eyes, and he saw the angel of the Lord standing in the road with a drawn sword in his hand. Balaam bowed his head and fell face down on the ground before him. Why did you beat your donkey those 3 times? The angel of the Lord demanded. Look, I have come to block your way because you are stubbornly resisting me. 3 times the donkey saw me and shied away. Otherwise, I would certainly have killed you by now and spared the donkey. Then Balaam confessed to the angel of the Lord, I have sinned. I didn't realize you were standing in the road to block my way. I will return home if you are against my going. But the angel of the Lord told Balaam, go with these men, but say only what I tell you to say. So Balaam went on with Balak's officials. When King Balak heard that Balaam was on his way, he went out to meet him at a Moabite town on the Arnon River at the farthest border of his land. Didn't I send you an urgent invitation? Why didn't you come right away? Balak asked Balaam. Didn't you believe me when I said I would reward you richly? Balaam replied, look, now I have come, but I have no power to say whatever I want. I will speak only the message that God puts in my mouth. Then Balaam accompanied Balak to Kiriath Huzoth, where the king sacrificed cattle and sheep. He sent portions of the meat to Balaam and the officials who were with him. The next morning, Balak took Balaam up to Bamoth Baal. From there, he could see some of the people of Israel spread out below him. And then we have to stop right there. Oh, that's definitely a cliffhanger. Okay, can we talk about this for just a second? Y'all got time for me today? Just for a minute, okay? I just want to go back. You ever read and you think you read something and then it says something opposite of what you thought was going to happen? And so now you kind of like confused. I'm actually a little confused. Okay. Verse 20. That night, God came to Balaam and told him, since these men have come for you, get up and go with them, but do only what I tell you to do. So the next morning, Balaam got up, settled his donkey, and started off with the Moabite officials. Verse 22, but God was angry that Balaam was going, so he sent the angel of the Lord to stand in the road to block his way as Balaam and his 2 servants were riding along. Nobody wants to talk about how confusing that is. So he sought God. God said, go ahead, go with them. Oh, excuse me. God said, go ahead, go with them since they came for you. Get up and go with them. But do only what I tell you to do. I wonder if when Balaam got up and decided, okay, so the Lord, he didn't decide. The Lord told him to go with them. So I just wonder when Balaam got up and was on his way, I wonder what his thought was. Like, what were his thoughts? Was he like, okay, I'm going over here. I don't know what he want me to tell these people, or I'm going over here. I'm obviously going to curse the people. I wonder what he was thinking. Like, I wonder what made God angry, because you're the one who told him to go. But God was angry that Balaam was going, so he sent the angel of the Lord to stand in the road to block his way. That's not curious to y'all. That's very suspicious. So I would probably take some time and I would definitely look at that in different translations. Okay, so the second thing I want to talk about. Now, this is a man of God who hears God. So that might give us some insight into what his mind was at and his connection and what he was thinking, right? Because this is a man who hears from God, who spoke to God, who God said, no, don't go with them because these people have been blessed. It's the same God that was like, okay, I don't know why I'm yawning. I'm not tired. Okay, this was the same. Okay, so they came for you a second time, so go ahead and go with them. So this is a man who hears from God, who seeks God, who can hear a word from God. And now he's on this donkey because the Lord told him to go. I wonder where his mind was that he couldn't see the angel of God. I wonder what he was thinking about. I wonder if he got an answer from God and then in his own mind, in his own power, in his own wisdom, was trying to come up with a strategy or an idea about what he was going to say. I wonder if he was coming up with a plan of action about what he was going to do. But God told him, I'm going to only do what I tell you to do. So I wonder if he was like distracted and he was thinking about, okay, well, this is what I'm going to do, or I think I'm going to do this, or this is what I want to do, or whatever. I wonder if he was thinking about that. And that is why he couldn't see the angel of God, because this is not a man who's so far from God. He can hear from God. He's going on this mission because the Lord told him to. Second thing, third thing is I often put myself in the position of the donkey when I think about it's follow me, follow me. When I start to have doubts about what God can do in and through me, when I start to have doubts, when I start to doubt the vision that I have, sometimes when I feel like I've been rejected or I actually have been rejected by people or people are saying things, and I start to think and doubt, get overwhelmed with this imposter syndrome, the thing that I say to encourage myself is, well, courage, if God can use a donkey, he can certainly use you, right? Like I say that to myself all the time. This is the donkey I'm talking about, because not only is God using the donkey, but he made himself his manifest presence. The donkey was able to see. The man of God couldn't see. The man who, and I'm not saying he even needs a man of God, but the man who spoke to God, he couldn't see the angel. But the donkey could see the angel. So the Lord can open the eyes of a donkey so he can see and feel his presence, but he can't do the same in the life of his child. I don't think so. The Lord opened up the vocal cords of a donkey and gave him the language to be able to speak to the man who was riding him, and the man was speaking back to him. But the Lord can't use you. He can't use your voice, and he's already given you a voice. He can't use your writing, and he's already given you the skill. He can't use, like, the Lord can't use you, and he's already given you gifts and talents and skills to do something. No, the Lord can use a donkey. He can certainly use you. A donkey who can't speak. God gave him the ability not only to speak, but to understand what he was saying. He's not a parrot, right? He didn't give the donkey the opportunity to speak or the ability to speak like he was a parrot. He gave him the ability to speak and understand. He gave him the sight so he could see the angel of God. So when I think about that, I think, well, if the Lord can use a donkey, he can certainly use you. Now, this last thing that I just think is very peculiar and interesting. When the donkey asked you, why are you hitting me 3 times? You wasn't shocked by that. You know what I'm saying? He got off the animal in a fit of rage, beat the animal again with his staff. Verse 28, then the Lord gave the donkey the ability to speak. And so the donkey said, what have I done to you to deserve your beating? That deserves your beating me 3 times. How many of y'all be so mad that you don't even recognize what's happening? He is in such a fit of rage. Not only has he beat the donkey, you're not even shook that the donkey's talk. This is not Shrek. This is a donkey. It's not Donkey from Shrek. You understand what I'm saying? This is not like a regular, this is not Eddie Murphy right here, y'all. So I'm so mad. I beat the donkey. I hop off. I beat the donkey. And the donkey says, hey, what you beating me for? That is not enough to stop you in your tracks. I wonder how often we get in a fit of rage when things are not going the way we think that they should go, and we miss, or we get close to missing what God is trying to say to us. You have made me look like a fool. If I had a sword with me, I would kill you. Then the donkey says to him, but I'm the same donkey you have ridden all your life. Have I ever done anything like this before? You still not shocked? You not awake yet? That's rage. That's you big mad. You ain't a little bit mad. You so mad you can't even see what happened. It's not a sin in being mad, but do not sin in your anger. Like, you so mad you don't even notice that the donkey is speaking. That's different. I wonder how often we miss the miracles of God because we're so angry that things aren't going the way we want them to go. I wonder how often we get angry I wonder how often we respond in anger because God wants to interrupt our thought patterns. And so he uses someone or something to interrupt us and get our attention. Do you know what I mean? Because I wonder, like, he must have really been deep in thought if he didn't see the angel all 3 times. Right? He must have really been deep in thought and in anger when the donkey spoke to him and he was still arguing with the donkey. I'm just saying. I pray that this has blessed you. I feel like we left on a cliffhanger. Be sure to come back tomorrow, so we can get into so that we can get into chapter 23, because this is a little juicy right here. What's about to go down. Hope this has blessed you. If you like this video, again, like this video, be sure to subscribe to this channel. Hit that notification button so that you know every single time that we drop a video. Bold Faith Community Church is an online church for women of purpose. We want to build you, bring you into a close community. We want to help you build a relationship with Christ, encourage and empower you to be bold in your faith, and equip you in the Word of God so that you can be confident in your calling and courageous in pursuit of the purpose that God has created you for, you know? All right. I love y'all. Hey, what do I want y'all to register for? Put it in the chat. What do I want you to register for? I want you to register for the retreat, July 14th through the 17th. Has anybody registered yet? Anybody new registered? If you've already registered, I want you to invite a friend. It's going to be an amazing time. It's going to be so good. It's really going to be so good. All right. I love y'all. Y'all come back tomorrow, right? Come back tomorrow for this next part of this cliffhanger. It's going to be so good. I don't want y'all to miss it. All right. Love y'all. Later. Bye.